Welcome back to the TwinSpires Racing Roundtable. I'm Ashley Anderson here with James Scully and Vance Hanson to talk Dornoch's win in the Fountain of Youth, Deterministic Stakes debut in the Gotham, and a somewhat murky picture with the Kentucky Oaks. And Vance, let's start with the Fountain of Youth. We had a number of scratches, which set up a somewhat easy win for Dornoch. So did we learn anything from this prep?
Yeah, it was a real shame the Fountain of Youth fell apart so much throughout Saturday. There was an opportunity for it to be one of the more meaningful preps that we've seen so far, but it really left me with more questions than answers. And I would say the biggest takeaway for me is that we learned that the Remsen continues to be an undisputable key race, though I think the performances we've seen from all the next out winners have not equaled or bettered their respective performances at Aqueduct last fall. And what I mean by that is I think we need to see some more convincing steps forward from like Dornoch and Sierra Leone, I think, in their final Kentucky Derby preps. Uh, you know, Otherwise, I think they'll be overbet contenders going into the Kentucky Derby, I think, James.
Yeah, I mean, what did we learn from the Fountain of Youth? I mean, I thought it was encouraging to see Dornoch return with a victory, but in terms of the Kentucky Derby, we did not learn much. Basically, Dornoch didn't have to do much leading gate to wire in that race, and he wasn't trying hard. It seemingly, now maybe it was an illusion, but I mean, he gets to the far turn and he's just goofing around on a short lead, and this 27-1 long shot, Ladon Bro, who you referenced, he ran like last, got beat 30-some lengths in the Remsen. He had been terrible at two turns. He's a 6 furlong sprint type in my mind, and he put a scare into him. He ran up, he rushed up to him on the far turn, drew even with Dornoch, made Luis Saez go to a full drive. Even in the stretch where he straightens for home, he doesn't change leads until like deep stretch. He's not very professional. He wasn't professional in the Remsen. He wasn't professional in the Fountain Youth. And, Vance referenced it. I mean, to me, as far as his Derby chances, we'll learn a lot more in the final prep. And seemingly, we're to the point in the schedule where there's only 9 U.S. Kentucky points qualifiers left. I mean, we've had a ton of them, but I think it's a thing where we got so many lightly raced horses and so many questions at this point that, really this last round of preps is going to be more important than ever before, seemingly, Ashley.
Well, I'm a little frustrated because obviously Dornoch was my fade in the jury. And I think maybe I would have gotten it right if we hadn't had a scratch of Speakeasy, which it started to become a little laughable. He scratched right before the race. And then prior to that, we had the scratch of Victory Avenue. Locked was scratched as well. And then Merritt, we had expected heading into this race, he was going to scratch. So there was not really much competition here. You mentioned Ladon Bro finished 9th in the Remsen, and then we had Frankie's Empire, who had just beat Ladon Bro in the Swale Stakes. And then we also had Dancing Groom, who continues to be and also ran in these graded stakes races. So Dornoch really didn't have that much to beat here. And it wasn't that impressive what he did with the competition he faced. He also, his trainer said he didn't want Dornoch to win this or to run this big number in this race. He got his wish. Dornoch able to set pretty pedestrian fractions to go gate to wire here. So I'm interested to see, he might go to the Florida Derby. He might go to the Bluegrass, face Sierra Leone again. So we'll wait to see what happens with that tougher competition. But right now I seem to be cursed. If I say that you should fade Dornoch, he keeps winning. So I'd like to break that curse.
One interesting takeaway I'll mention real quick was after the race, they talked about it. He had been training him to sit off horses. All 3 of his wins now have come like leading every step of the way. But Gargan had said they're going to teach him to rate. They plan on having him sit off horses in future starts. And they couldn't do that when the top 3 contenders for Dornoch came out of the race, like you referenced. Both Victory Avenue for sure and Speakeasy would have been set after Victory Avenue came out. Speakeasy would have been the pace setter. So didn't get the race that he wanted, in a sense, a teaching experience, and puts a lot of pressure on that final prep.
Well, let's talk about another Kentucky Derby prep, the Gotham, where Deterministic made his 2nd career start, his stakes debut, and won by 2 lengths. So, James, were you impressed by that win?
I was. I ranked Deterministic 2nd in my Kentucky Derby top 10 this week off of that Gotham victory. Now, granted, he's only going to have 3 starts, and he's still got to go 2 turns in his final prep race. So, but So I'm worried a little bit about the inexperience, but let's face it. I mean, there's questions surrounding all these horses right at this point right now. And I look at Deterministic and I see a talented colt that is only going to move forward off of that Gotham victory. You know, when he debuted last summer, that was a fast 6 furlong maiden special weight race. It was on a Saturday card at Saratoga. I think it got the second highest Brisnet speed rating for a Saturday maiden. And he basically didn't break with the field. I mean, Joel Rosario had to go to full drive. He made a real impressive run to run him down, but in the Gotham, he was more professional. He showed speed from the gate. He stalked just off the early leaders, and it did take him a little bit to find his best stride, but when he kicked it in the stretch, Vance, I love the way Deterministic finished up, and I think he has a bright future for Christophe Clement.
Yeah, on the surface, there wasn't much substance to the field, and I think the sloppy track perhaps hurt the chances of some, but I really liked Deterministic's solid progression from ages 2 to 3 when he won. Given the fact he just had the one prior race and he hadn't run in nearly 7 months, that was a very credible performance. And as you alluded to, it's Christophe Clement, one of the most respected trainers in the business, who actually has never had a Kentucky Derby starter yet. He has won the Belmont Stakes with Thomas, but barring anything unforeseen, Clement's going to have his first Derby starter. And, we've seen horses like Mage, Justify, and Big Brown in the last 15 years or so win the Derby off 3 lifetime starts. So I wouldn't put it past this colt improving enough over the next couple of months to follow in their footsteps. Now, with that said, Mage wasn't really the same horse after winning the Derby. Justify went into retirement after winning the Triple Crown. So, for such a lightly raced horse, I question whether if he lasts the season or not. But as far as a Kentucky Derby contender, I think Deterministic is worth watching in the coming weeks, Ashley.
Well, you mentioned it. He came off a long layoff and he improved his Brisnet speed figure from a 90 on debut to a 99. And that late kick does make it look like he can handle that 1 1/8 of a mile for the Woodward. Now, if you read Keeler Johnson's pedigree profiles, this is a son of Liam's Map, who won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and he's out of a Spadestown mare. So I don't know if classic distances are in his wheelhouse, but seeing that late kick, at least in this race, it does look like he can go farther. So I was impressed here, much more impressed than I was with Dornoch. And I feel like we got a little bit tougher competition in this field. He had to beat 10 rivals in the Gotham as well. So definitely give him a better grade.
That day, absolutely, Speightstown champion sprinter, but the second, third, and fourth maternal dams are all like long distance stamina influences. And Liam's Map has sired a number of classy, mostly turf, but long distance classy 2-turn types as a sire.
Right. Yeah. So not out of the question. So we'll see with the Woodward what happens there, which Liam's Map won that as well, I believe.
What Memorial?
The Wood Memorial. He's going to the Wood Memorial.
Okay. Yeah, Wood Memorial.
I said it wrong. I had Woodward on my mind. Okay. All right. Well, Liam's Map did not win that. All right. Well, let's move over to the Kentucky Oaks prep races. We had the Devona Dale at Gulfstream. We also had the Busher Stakes at Aqueduct. So Vance, did either prep shake up the Kentucky Oaks picture?
I think the biggest development in the Oaks this weekend didn't really come from the result of either of those races, but from the late scratch of Just FYI from the Devona Dale, which I really think puts her behind the 8 ball and making the Oaks in the best and most ideal position for her. We've had a horse like Malathot a few years ago win the Kentucky Oaks off a single prep, but at least in that filly's case, she had experience winning over 9 furlongs. So we'll find out where Just FYI shows up, in the coming weeks. But like I said before, I think, going into the Kentucky Oaks, a really tough race with just one prep is going to be difficult for her. And history is generally not on her side anyway. The last juvenile filly champion to repeat in the Kentucky Oaks was Silver Bullet Day 25 years ago. So it's a tall order for her. James?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that scratch was very disappointing in terms of her. She's running out of time. We're in March, and he was going to bring her back here, have one more race, and that's obviously now he might try to win the Oaks. Heck, I mean, with her missing this prep, she still has to come back and get get up past the fevers. So we'll see what happens. Also, the other thing in that race I thought was this Leslie's Rose. I mean, really promising filly for Pletcher off of her maiden and allowance wins, 2 for 2 entering that race, and was, odds on favorite. She didn't run well either. So, her stock took a hit, finishing third at like, I think she was 1 to 5 on the board, Leslie's Rose. I will mention the Busher real quick. Jody's Pride won that. It was good to see her come back. She did it the right way, but that race is a 1-turn mile. The real question with her, Ashley, I think it's going to be going 2 turns.
Yeah, Jody's Pride and Fiona's Magic both had similar Brisnet speed figures here. We had an 85 for Jody's Pride, but she did get that muddy track. And then Fiona's Magic had an 86 Brisnet speed figure. Neither are that impressive. Just FYI, I had a 100 Brisnet speed figure winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. I agree with you all. Her not racing here leaves a lot of questions for the Kentucky Oaks. And Jody's Pride, I guess, is a little bit more impressive here because she was the post-time favorite. She was just a next second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She got the job done as the post-time favorite. But again, those Brisnet speed figures just so light in both of these prep races. So I don't know if I should be too impressed with either of them. But if I had to give one, more of a chance, it would be Jody's Pride here.
I agree. And, she went a mile and a 16th in the Juvenile Fillies, got beat ahead. So she does have that 2-turn race, even though all of her other starts are at 1 turn. Fiona's Magic. I mean, that was a 1-turn mile at Avonadale. Vance, I don't know if you've taken a look at her pedigree, but to me, it's really geared towards speed.
Yeah, it looks like it, and that's my conclusion as well after her 2 stakes appearances at Gulfstream this winter. She was second in the Forward Gal, and she looks like more of an 8-bell stakes type filly more than a Kentucky Oaks, I think, if she's going to show up at Churchill on Derby weekend.
All right, well, that's all the time we have today for the Racing Roundtable. We'll be back next Tuesday with more stakes recaps, hopefully fewer scratches, and check us out on Thursday for our TwinSpires jury with our best bets and fades.